If it's happening in professional wrestling, we're breaking it down. The matches, the moments, the rumors, and yes, even the hot takes. This is Pro Wrestling Focus. No nonsense, no wasted motion, just pure wrestling talk. Now here's your host, Cody Springer.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Focus, and this right here is a special Backlash predictions episode. We've already dropped our main episode for the week, but with a stacked card and some real storyline heat going into the show, I couldn't leave these predictions on the cutting room floor. From Cena versus Orton one last time, to potential chaos with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, and yes, even a rumored Goldberg return. We're diving deep into all of it. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk Backlash. All right, we're going to start off with Pat McAfee versus GUNTHER. And I've liked the build for this match, even though I kind of wish they would have saved this match for a bigger event like SummerSlam, but we're getting it now. And the reason for that is because I think it's going to set up a bigger match for GUNTHER, which I'm going to get into here in a little bit. But yeah, let's be real here. As entertaining and likable as Pat McAfee is, this is GUNTHER we're talking about. The ring general has been built as an unstoppable machine, and it's going to take more than charisma and a couple of high spots to put him down. McAfee will bring the energy, no doubt. He always shows up when it's time to perform. But GUNTHER isn't here to play. He is here to dominate. Expect a hard-hitting, one-sided affair where GUNTHER methodically breaks him down and ends it with something devastating. So yes, my prediction is GUNTHER wins by pinfall. But after the match, here's where it gets interesting. GUNTHER keeps going. He beats down McAfee post-match to make an example of him, and then boom, the music hits, the arena explodes. Goldberg returns. Now look, I'll be honest. I'm not overly stoked about Goldberg coming back. It's not 2004. He's not the guy he once was, but if you're going to bring him back for one last match, make it count. A showdown with GUNTHER could do exactly that. Even in a short burst, Goldberg putting over GUNTHER on a major stage would do wonders for GUNTHER's legacy. Legitimizing him in the eyes of older fans and giving him that huge win, quote unquote, that pushes him to the next level. So no, I'm not begging for Goldberg, but if he's coming, this is the right time and this is the right opponent. And it's been talked about that Goldberg was going to come back around the summertime. So, I think we're going to be building towards one final match here for Goldberg, and it will be against GUNTHER. All right, now we'll talk about the Fatal 4-Way match for the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu will defend against Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. This Fatal 4-Way is absolute chaos on paper. 4 guys who bring very different energies to the ring. McIntyre and Priest are heavy hitters. LA Knight is red hot with the crowd. And then there's Jacob Fatu, the wild card. Jacob is walking in as champion, but all eyes will be on how he handles the rising tension with Solo Sikoa. I think we're going to see Solo try to help, quote unquote, but in classic fashion, he'll almost cost Jacob the title. Whether it's mistimed interference or an accidental distraction, it's going to plant more seeds of friction between them. Because I'm telling you, I think, here in the near future, we're going to have a program between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. They've been teasing it, for a while now. And I think, we're going to get more of that build up towards, those two coming to blows. But still, I think Jacob will find a way to overcome, putting away LA Knight, the most popular guy in the match, to hammer home that he's not just surviving in WWE, he's thriving. This win keeps his momentum rolling, but the drama will only grow louder after this. So my prediction, Jacob Fatu by pinning LA Knight. Up next, we have the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria defends against Becky Lynch. And a lot of people have been predicting that Becky's going to go over here. I don't think that's going to happen. But, this one's personal. Becky Lynch has been chasing respect since losing the Women's Tag Team Championships with Lyra Valkyria. And Lyra herself, she's the rising star with all the tools. And Lyra is standing in Becky's way. But this match is less about championships and more about settling scores. I see the match going back and forth. Lyra proving she belongs, Becky turning up the aggression. But before we get a clean finish, Bayley makes her presence felt. Payback's a bitch. And after Becky ambushed her at WrestleMania, Bayley is going to make sure that the man doesn't get what she came for. Bayley attacks Becky mid-match, causing the disqualification. Lyra keeps the belt. Becky gets robbed. And now we're set for maybe a possible triple threat match down the road. If things start to heat, if tension rises between Lyra and Bayley, or maybe something even more chaotic down the line. This story is far from over, and Becky's not going to let this slide. So my prediction is that Becky Lynch will win by disqualification, but Lyra will retain the championship, since titles can't change hands on countouts or DQs. Up next, for the Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio will defend against Penta. This might just be the show stealer. Penta brings that flash, intensity, and unpredictability, while Dominic Mysterio continues to prove that he's not just coasting on his last name. Dom has grown into one of WWE's most reliable heels, and with the Judgment Day looming, he's always got backup, whether he uses it or not. Still, I'm calling a clean win for Dominic here. Penta's offense will have the crowd on fire, but in the end, Dom finds a way to survive. Maybe even pulling out a creative counter or a surprise frog splash. Either way, he's walking out with the IC title still around his waist. WWE's clearly invested into this title reign, and there's no reason to cut it short yet, especially not with how much heat Dom's still pulling in week after week. And that will bring us to the main event. For one final time, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. Yes, John Cena against the Viper, Randy Orton, one last time. This match is a legacy fight. It's not just about the championship. It's about pride, history, and finality. John Cena versus Randy Orton has been the defining feud of the 2000s and 2010s. And this is the last time we'll ever see them clash one-on-one. No more rematches. No more next time. This is it. Randy Orton is still one of the most calculating wrestlers alive. He knows Cena better than anyone. And he's walking into this match with nothing to lose and everything to prove. But Cena has something bigger on the line. his final run, his legacy, his goodbye tour, his mission to ruin wrestling and retire as the last real champion. Yeah, he's not dropping that title yet. Not like this. Not now. But expect a classic. Kickouts, finishers, maybe even a tease of an RKO turning the tide. But ultimately, Cena overcomes, fights dirty, and soaks in the moment. The match will be emotional, electric, and a reminder of why these two are Mount Rushmore guys for an entire generation of fans. And there's been some rumors of Cody Rhodes possibly making his return to the WWE at Backlash. Cody hasn't been seen since WrestleMania, but I wouldn't pull the trigger on a Cody Rhodes return just yet. But don't be surprised if there's a little tease. WWE knows what they have with Cena holding gold, and they're going to milk this ride for all it's worth. So with my prediction, John Cena will beat Randy Orton and retain the WWE Championship. So to recap my predictions here, Gunther will defeat Pat McAfee by pinfall. Jacob Fatu will pin LA Knight to retain the United States Championship. And Becky Lynch will defeat Lyra Valkyria by disqualification due to Bayley's interference. So therefore, Lyra will still be the champion. Dominic Mysterio will defeat Penta to retain the Intercontinental Championship. And John Cena will beat Randy Orton to remain the WWE Champion. So no title changes. That's what I'm predicting. I could be wrong. You guys seen how my WrestleMania predictions went. I got, a little more than 50% right on those predictions. So I'm not always right, but I'm not always wrong either. So, this on the surface kind of looks like one of the more predictable pay-per-views that we've had in some time, but predictable isn't always a bad thing, because I think there are some matches on this card that are going to be absolute bangers. Like Lyra and Becky, that's going to be a great match. The Fatal 4-Way could be super chaotic and fun. Gunther and McAfee, that could be something special too. And then Cena and Orton, man, that's going to be special to see. The one last time, two legends still doing it, and they're doing it for the final time. And then, like I said, Dominic and Penta, I think they have the potential to steal the show. I think that match could be that good. But, it all depends if they're given the right amount of time, and, hopefully they just, the gloves are off and they just tell them, go out there and steal the show, because that's the thing. When you're going into any PLE, whether it's WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble, Backlash, or some small PLE, you want to go in there with the goal of stealing the show. That this is going to be the match that people are going to talk about, coming out of the show. That when fans leave the arena, they're going to be like, oh my God, dude, that Dom versus Penta match was fire. Or that Becky versus Lyra match, that was crazy, you definitely want to make people come out of that show thinking stuff like that. But yeah, Backlash, it's been a kind of a quick build towards it. I think we only got 3 weeks of build, and man, I can't believe we're already on a new PLE. We just got done with WrestleMania not too long ago, but this is the WWE, it never stops. We're always looking forward to the next thing. So, but yeah, we got Backlash, and then I think in 2 weeks is Saturday night's main event. So yeah, we're gonna have to change gears here real quick and start thinking about Saturday night's main event. And yeah, it's going to be kind of a crazy little ride here for the PLE schedule for WWE. But you know what? I'm here for it. Bring it on. And that's a wrap on my official WWE Backlash predictions. Whether you agree, disagree, or think I've completely lost my damn mind, hit me up on my socials and let's talk about it. I want to hear your takes too. Make sure to check out this week's full episode of Pro Wrestling Focus if you haven't already. We cover the Del Rio rumors, Chelsea Green's new contract, and a whole lot more. Enjoy Backlash, and I'll catch you next week to break it all down. Until then, stay sharp, stay passionate, and stay focused.